Hi, everyone. Welcome to Talk It Up Tuesdays. Today, I'm here with Amy Chenault. She's our SANE manager, our Courtney Safe Place manager. And we're going to have a conversation today about Courtney Safe Place. But before I get started, I want to take a moment and tell you a little bit about the Turning Point. So at the Turning Point, we serve survivors of sexual violence. So our mission, and hold on one second and let me pull up our the information here. So there, we can see it. Our mission is to provide counseling, education, and advocacy for all those impacted by sexual violence in the North Texas area. And we have a crisis hotline that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for information, referrals, and crisis intervention. That number is 1-800-886-7273. So welcome, Amy. I look forward to talking to you a little bit about Courtney Safe Place. So before we kind of jump into the details, you're our SANE manager. And I wondered if you could just explain what, we use a lot of acronyms, what SANE means and a little bit about the program that you manage here.
So a SANE is a sexual assault nurse examiner, and we are specially trained nurses that have gone through the training and are certified with the state of Texas and or the International Association of Forensic Nursing.
And so your role is to conduct the sexual assault exams, correct?
Correct, yes. So we get consent from the patient and then sit down, have a talk with them about what's happened and why they came in, and then do the exam, look them over head to toe and swab areas of concern, and then give them medications if they would like preventative medications for sexually transmitted diseases or pregnancy.
So my understanding is that we have one of the few mobile SANE programs here in the state of Texas where we actually have contracts and you guys go out to the actual hospitals. Is that right?
That's correct. We respond to 18 locations. So 15 of those are hospitals, 2 are universities, and then to our clinic, which is Courtney Safe Place.
Great. So this is perfect because I wanted to know if you would talk to me a little bit more about Courtney Safe Place, which is our on-site forensic clinic here.
So we have 2 rooms that we can do exams in. When you walk in the door, it's just more calming, and the patients usually feel safer whenever they come here to do the exam because they're not sitting in a hospital where possibly the assailant could be looking for them. And then we do all the medications and the exam here, and they have advocates here as well. That's about it.
Great. So can you give me a little bit of the history about Courtney Safe Place? Because it hasn't been here that long, has it?
We started at the end of 2018. Courtney Underwood, who is one of the people who's in charge of the SANE initiative in the DFW area, she oversaw what we were doing on it, and it's named after her. And she wanted somewhere where patients could go and get an exam quickly and correctly.
And so my understanding is like this really took off during the COVID pandemic, right?
Yes. So we could have the patients come here instead of having to go to the emergency rooms, or if they checked in at the emergency room, they could come here, which we still do this too, but that kept them from being exposed to COVID. And so we saw a lot more patients during the COVID time up here. And we still see quite a few patients just because it is no loud dingings in the ER, no wait times. The nurse can be here within an hour to do an exam. We usually set up a time to meet the patient. And you don't hear people screaming because sometimes you hear that in an emergency room. So it's just a lot more calming whenever they come in.
So my understanding is that if somebody has been sexually assaulted, we do the sexual assault forensic exam within 120 hours typically, correct? And so a person can there's a couple ways they can go to the ER, they can call the police, or they can call our 1-800 number. Can you tell me a little bit about that procedure and where Courtney Safe Place comes into that?
So If they call the 1-800 number and it has been under the 120 hours, whether they want to report or not report, if they're over the age of 17, they can come to the clinic. If they are not intoxicated or need emergency services right then and there, like have a bad cut that needs to be sewn up or anything like that, or needing emergency psychiatric services. And we love seeing our patients here because it just makes things go very smoothly for them as well as for us, because we can just come here and it's just a very inviting environment. The main thing is that it's 17 and up, and we have to make sure that our safety is taken care of and the patient's safety is taken care of as well.
Right, because this is 24 hours a day, right? So people can call our 1-800 number and schedule an exam, and then everybody will come here at any time. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. And even if they go to the emergency room, the emergency room staff should be asking them if they would like to come here for the exam. And if they would like to, we can set that up as well.
And so if they call the police department, will the police department typically give them some options, or how does that work?
So when they call the police department, the police will call us and say, hey, we've got this patient who needs, or this survivor who needs an exam. And we direct them on where they need to go, depending on what's going on with that survivor.
Okay, so the police normally respond to us, and then we can give them instructions about where maybe the best location is. So one of the things that I've heard about Courtney Safe Place, and I think that this is, having been to the hospital before, you tend to get, regardless of what it is, some of these unexplained bills sometimes. So is there any billing that's involved if somebody comes to Courtney Safe Place?
No, that's one of the wonderful things about it, is there's no billing. Everything is free. Nobody will see any kind of bills that come in. So the Office of the Attorney General reimburses us for any compensation that we need.
Okay, so patients, if they need an exam, they can come here. There's no expectations that they will have to pay or get billed. It's completely designed to support sexual assault survivors. Is that right?
Yes.
So we have this clinic here. There's no crazy ER waiting rooms and people rushing in and out. There's generally nobody in the waiting room, and it's just, everything is very supportive and trauma informed for the survivors that come in here. They'll typically see a sexual assault nurse examiner and an advocate who will be there to support them through the process, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And if they do choose to report, will there be a police officer here, or how is that handled typically?
Typically, if they want to report, and most of the time they've already reported, but if they want to report, the officer can come up and talk with them at the time of the exam or after the exam, or we can have our legal advocate sit in with them if they want to go ahead and do the exam as a non-report and then turn around and report later. Then they can meet up here at the turning point and speak with the officer, or they can go to the police department and speak with the officer, but they always have the right to have that legal advocate with them.
Great. So there's a lot of options here. So my understanding is that in the state of Texas, we're only like one of 2 or 3 of these on-site forensic clinics specifically designed to support sexual assault survivors. Why do you think that is? Or do you have any insight into that?
Not really. There's several places where the SANEs are housed in the hospitals. We are actually the only mobile team in the DFW area, and we have the only on-site clinic that's not posted inside of a hospital. So that possibly too, because there's a lack of SANEs. So it's hard to get nurses to want to do this job. So.
Okay. Well, I guess that is one of the terrific resources that we have in the area for survivors of sexual assault, to kind of continue to support them so that this process, along with all the others, is one of healing and of support through the whole process.
Yes.
So is there anything else that you would like to add about Courtney Safe Place or the SANE program, or any of the work that you guys do in your department?
I'm looking to make sure that I didn't have anything else written down. I think that that is it. I know that we have nurses that are on 24/7. And you can call us at any time.
So that reminds me. So if you're a nurse, just a regular RN, and somebody's interested in forensic nursing or maybe even looking into becoming a SANE, can you tell us a little bit about what that process might be like, or who they should contact for more information?
They can contact, we have an email that's info@theturningpoint.org, and those emails get forwarded to me and I can help people through that process. But you have to have had been an RN for 2 years and then do 40 hours worth of in-class or didactic is what we call it, training. And then you have to do different things such as courtroom observation, well woman exams. If you're in pediatric, you have to do well child exams, and then you have to follow on so many forensic exams as well before you can be certified here in the state of Texas. So there's a lot that goes into it, but it is very rewarding.
Right. That's one thing I notice whenever we're out at organizations. You're very passionate about the work that you do as a nurse and supporting survivors. So I think that you're a terrific resource for anybody who might be the least bit interested or curious about this, who has the medical background to get in touch with you.
Thank you.
Well, if there's nothing else, we will be back here next Tuesday to talk a little more about the Turning Point and the services that we provide. Thank you for joining us, Amy. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.